Cool. I love that. We'll also be live on YouTube, which is always cool.
Cool.
And we'll be ready to go with my show in just a second for all of those paying attention who popped on live. All right, all right. We're talking about Amazon and e-commerce, a couple of my favorite subjects.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ready for your counting?
Yep, I am.
All right, have a great show going in four,
Thank you,
three,
thank you.
2.
Hey, everybody, it's Forbes Riley. Welcome to one of my favorite hours of the week. It's called the Forbes Factor. And I got a very special guest to start off today. I'm going to jump right into it because we got a lot of stuff to do. Have you ever gone to that? What is that store called? Oh, yeah, Amazon. Remember when there was a time it didn't deliver stuff to your door? What a crazy world we're living in, guys. You can get anything you want just by imagining it. It shows up within hours. Craziest thing in the world. But while some of us during COVID were buying up all the toilet paper, the smarter people were selling the toilet paper. Yeah. Well, my guest is a very smart man who's going to teach us how not to only buy on Amazon, but to sell in the world of e-commerce. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Kyle Kirshner.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. This is one of my all-time favorite and most frustrating subjects. I had my fitness product on Amazon. I got kicked off because back before FBA, I didn't ship on time very well. I don't know what the deal was.
Gotcha.
And it was complicated. So let's start with a little bit about who the heck is Kyle?
Sure. Yeah. Kyle Kirshner. I've been in this crazy space for 13 years, since 2010, but I actually wasn't selling in 2010. I was working for a company that was doing 20 million a year on Amazon. And I worked for this company for 5 years, and I learned the ins and outs of how they started and scaled and pretty much created their own electronics brand on Amazon. So after 5 years, after working for this company for minimum wage, and I usually tell people, if you want to get ahead, find a company that's doing it successful, work for them for free or for minimum wage, and then learn the ropes. So I worked for this company for 5 years, and I learned the ins and outs of how they were successful on Amazon. And then after 5 years, I quit, started my own brand, and built an 8-figure business with that brand.
Well, let's go back to what were they selling? What were they doing?
Yeah, so they owned an electronics brand called Alpatronics, and so they specialize in Bluetooth speakers and battery charging cases that like charge your iPhones and Androids and things like that.
And how were they so good at what they did?
Yeah, so they started the wholesale route, so selling other people's branded products on Amazon, and then they said, wow, we could actually sell our own branded products on Amazon. So they kind of created an in-house team. They had their marketing in play. They launched all their products. They had different review structures in play as well, which is very important because Amazon's like the wild, wild west with trying to get product reviews. So there's little things that I put into my business that I learned from their business to excel that on Amazon, and little tricks of the trade that you could have in your products today to try to drive reviews and traffic to your Amazon listing.
So nowadays you do your own products. What products do we see from you?
Yeah, so I have a backpack cooler company that I exited recently. So now I'm actually coaching full time, and I'm teaching people how to create businesses and brands on Amazon because I recently exited my 8-figure business.
We love hearing that. So, you and I are fairly new. We're in the same circle, which, and I love that you popped onto my show. Have you ever seen what this is? You know what I'm showing you here?
Yes, I actually have.
So this is my creation. This is my spin gym, which I did incredibly well on home shopping. If I have the ability to talk, and I've watched Amazon do a very bad job of their whole live world. They could do that so much better, but I have been focusing in a different world, writing books and coaching on how to pitch. But I would like to come back and meld that. And I think maybe that's one reason you and I have talked. And if you're lucky enough to be listening to this program, you're lucky enough because I'm going to ask Kyle some kind of in-depth questions. I have some books on Amazon. Is there and other products, but obviously not to the extent that you've done your business. So let's step back for a second. Welcome to 2024. Somebody wants to get into this world. Can they? Do they open a storefront? Do they just do a product? Do they do their own product, other people's products? Just random thoughts on that.
Great question. I do think there is an exceptional amount of space to still get into Amazon today. I just launched somebody brand new a week ago, and they're already at $50,000 per month on Amazon. Amazon is a specific science, and once you know that science, you can replicate it over and over again. And that's how I've launched over 200 successful products. But I would tell you to create your own store, create your own brand, but be careful, and you have to have a criteria in the products that you're looking for. So first criteria I have is I tell people not to sell their own electronics. And the reason for that is because the brand that I was actually working for, the brand that I learned from, they actually had 3% profit margins because selling in electronics comes with a lot of headaches. So a lot of defects from getting your products from overseas, and also not just defects from manufacturers, but user error defects. So I like to sell products that I call dummy proof. And what I mean by dummy proof is they don't need a product manual, or they don't need an explanation of how to use that product, because I've seen hundreds and hundreds of negative reviews on Amazon from just customers not knowing how to work the product properly. So I personally like to sell products that don't need an explanation and don't need to be guided on how to use it, so that I can minimize the kind of negative experiences for any kind of customer with my product.
What's that? They have the most insane refund policy. Now,
Yeah,
they really do, which is great if you're a customer, but I can imagine it's just can't be good if you're selling on Amazon.
you can basically return anything you buy on Amazon, whether you bought it a year ago, no ifs, ands, or buts on Amazon. So yes, it is a very big headache, but that's why we try to have, enough profit margin and things like that. And that's why I tell people to create their own brands on Amazon, because I personally don't like selling other people's brands, because then you're constantly price gouging each other. So if somebody that's selling the same Dove bar soap, they have to stay at a certain price level on Amazon. And a lot of people keep fighting for that, what they call the buy box. And if somebody lowers their price by 1 cent, somebody else gets the buy box. Now, if you're selling your own product, your own brand, nobody else can sell your brand but you. So I love that, because I own my own buy box. I own my own pricing. Nobody can sell my product lower than me or higher than me. I get to own that space on Amazon, and that's why I tell people to create their own brands on Amazon.
All right, well, so let's go back to your last company, a backpack. Talk to me.
Yeah. So backpack cooler company. We had about 50 different backpack coolers. I started it many years ago. Once I finally
Did you do the manufacturing, or did you partner with somebody who had the product?
So our manufacturing was overseas. It was in China. And so what I tell my students to do is, when we're doing manufacturing overseas, is to, one, always have a prep company go check your products overseas. So I have a prep company that goes to China. They actually have a base in China, and they go to your manufacturers and they put your products through a very extensive test. And if they don't pass that extensive test, then I am not going to pay the rest of my balance for the manufacturer. So always have a prep company in place, and always test multiple manufacturers. And what I mean by that is, I have about 5 manufacturers to test and create my product that I'm telling them to come up with, and then send it to me. And I'm testing those samples against each other to make sure I'm finding the best manufacturer possible, because almost everything we buy is still from China, but we still need to find a quality manufacturer.
It's funny. I manufactured in China. I've been doing this for 12 years. I learned things. I had massive learning curve. Where were you 12 years ago? Well, you were probably in high school.
Yeah, actually, I was. 13 years ago is when I got my first job at this electronics brand, and I was in high school. And I worked for this company for 5 years, and I learned the manufacturing. I was actually dealing with manufacturers in high school with this company, and I was doing the language barrier. I was figuring out how to negotiate with these manufacturers overseas. And it was crazy. It was such an eye-opening thing to me. But it gave me the tools that I needed to create my business today.
I think it's genius. So I remember the first time I learned about shipping, your product's on the water. Well, your product might fall off the boat on the water, or your product might get stuck. I had a product, I could do an entire documentary on how my product got seized by US Customs. Mm-hmm. And it was a nightmare, because it was over the holidays. And I had a little box of my Spin Gym, and I had pictures in there, and I guess they x-rayed this. I had first time I'd ordered a container, and you know what that means. The average person.
Big order.
So I had 22,000 units in this container, which is such a concept. Yeah. And they x-rayed it and said, they wrote me a note, and there's a lot of metal here. I'm like, yeah, it's metal, but it's not dangerous metal. Yeah. And every day they hold your product, it was like $2,000 a day. And I'm like, wait a second, let my product go. And they were like, no. Then they decided, I have a manual there with pictures. They said, well, who owns all the pictures? I'm like, they're of me, they're mine. Yeah. Said, no, you don't own them. Who's the photographer, and has he signed off? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm going to tell you, this was a 10-day nightmare from manufacturing production hell. That probably should be a story because at some point, the ultimate thing that happened was I had a DVD in there. Do you remember that little DVD with the little DVD circle, like a little? Well, for some reason, my guy left that on the printing thing. Didn't need
Yeah.
it, didn't want it, took up space.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out a guy in Japan owns that logo.
Wow.
So I reached out to the guy and said, "Hey, I made a mistake. I didn't know, and I'm not benefiting from it. Can I pay you a penny?" Because there were 44,000 DVDs in these 22,000 products. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Sure, I don't care." He's like, "Just black it out, do whatever."
Wow.
U.S. Customs says, "No, no, no. It's after the fact. You cannot do that."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "We're going to return all of the items, or you just throw out all the DVDs." I'm like, "Do you guys understand that I am a small company?
Yep.
It's $1 a DVD. That's $44,000. The timing won't make it. I'm live on television, and I'm crying at the U.S. Customs office. Like, this is just not happening to me."
Yeah.
And they finally said, "I finally said, look, the guy said I could black it out." And they were like, "What did you say?" I said I could black it out. They said, "Okay, we'll give you 4 days, up to 6 workers, 6 hours a day, and a magic marker.
Wow.
You can open all 22,000 cases, black it out 44,000 times," and we did.
Yep, I had to pick up personally my first order that got to the ports. I rented a U-Haul. I went to the ports. I picked them up because they were being seized at the port. So I understand your pain. If you don't have just one of their little sticker warnings, yeah, everything can get seized, and you could be hurt real bad.
Do you agree with all that? Do you think it should be so strict?
No, not at all. Because, for instance, if you don't have just like a little made in China sticker or something like that, then yeah, they will keep your whole inventory back. So I've had horror stories of, not fulfilling my inventory, which if we don't fulfill back our inventory, we lose our ranking on Amazon. And if you lose your ranking on Amazon, oh boy, you are in the wild, wild west again, because you have to gain momentum. You got to gain your ranking back on Amazon. And if Amazon penalizes you if you run out of stock, and boy, if you run out of stock, your sales will plummet. So I get it.
So I love that you're teaching this now, because all of those horror stories become something. In the end, is it worth it?
Yeah, I absolutely believe so. I've made probably over 100 successful people just leaving their 9 to 5 and doing Amazon full time. So they love it. I've loved it. Gave me the life that I didn't think I could ever dream of. Also the freedom it gives you. You get to stay behind and manage everything by your computer at home. So I love it. It's still a great business model. I have a whole criteria that I go off of, whether picking the product, picking the manufacturer, picking your photographers. So there's definitely, we want to do things correctly on Amazon, and there's a lot of people doing so. So if you find the right person and the tricks of the trade, I think there's so much money to be made on Amazon still today.
Where is home for you?
So currently I am in Utah, Salt Lake area.
I'm heading there on Tuesday. Did you know that?
No, I did not, but
All
we
right,
should
so
get
wait a
together.
second. So I'm one of the only girls, I think I'm the only woman, on stage with Ed Milet and Jimmy Rex and Prince EA and Chris Williamson and a lot of other big speakers right there in Orem. So I will let you know.
Yeah, let me know, because I'm very close to Orem. I'm in a city called Saratoga Springs, so right over from Orem, that's where I'm at.
Well, I think that maybe that's meant to be, which is part of my whole thing in life about how you connect to people, how you up level, how you're willing to put yourself out there and be wildly successful.
Right.
Is all your coaching virtual?
Yes, but I do meet up with my students a lot of times, actually. I have a decent amount here in Utah. We get together and we do masterminds. And I'm originally from California, Orange County area. And so I have a lot of students over there as well. So every time and whether I'm in Vegas, I speak a lot in Vegas at the convention center. I'm actually speaking in April at the convention center. And so every time I go over there and I speak, I do these masterminds. We meet up with students. But besides that, the one-on-one coaching that I do to build your business, I hold their hand step by step. That's all online, week by week with me.
You really are living the dream, and how old are you right now?
I'm 28.
Oh my gosh, I think the hat made you look a little older, because I'm like, do the math. Well, because my daughter runs my digital marketing company and she's 21.
Love it.
And for all of you listening, if you didn't graduate high school with a cell phone, you're in my age group. I guess you guys were born with a cell phone. You came out here, nursery school, have your phone.
Just about.
it is definitely a different world. And I love that you can offer a lot of people a lot of hope, because being able to work a laptop lifestyle, my daughter and I both travel around the world. She just came back from Guatemala and Belize, worked the whole time. We were in Poland, we were in Portugal, we were in Greece. It becomes a very different life.
It does.
And I don't think a lot of people know that it's available. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I love the laptop lifestyle. Like you said, it's let me, create a life I didn't think I was ever going to be imaginable. I used to get in a lot of trouble back in the day. Amazon, I say, saved my life. Business saved my life. The kind of connections I've made with people are just, it's amazing. And yeah, I think it's incredible that we can do this today.
Now, you kind of put your eggs in one basket, though. I used to work for Home Shopping, QVC, and HSN, and those were the only guys in town. If Amazon stopped using you for whatever reason, what would you do?
Well, I am not just one trick pony. I did diversify my sales channels. We did, 7 figures on Walmart. We did 7 figures on Etsy. So, I do know a lot of different platforms, but Amazon's my bread and butter, and we make sure that we stick in Amazon's guidelines. They do have a lot of guidelines, but, as long as we're feeding the Amazon beast, I like to say, they usually, treat you okay. But I tell my students not only to have our eggs in one basket. So we diversify our channels as well. I just got off a call with one of my students that just hit $50,000 a month on Etsy, and they're having Amazon fulfill all their orders, which a lot of people don't know you can do. So you can also have your product on different platforms. And if you have most of your stock in Amazon's fulfillment centers, you can still use Amazon to fulfill those other orders. So again, I tell everybody to diversify. But also creating a brand is very important. So I tell people to have a website and create an audience and have them try to go to you instead of Amazon, so that you're not getting all those fees. But Amazon is the place that people go to. And so I would tell everybody to have their product, if they already have one, to be on Amazon.
Do you have connections inside of Amazon? Do you hang out with those people at all? Do they know who you are?
Yeah, so I've spoken at Amazon's headquarters a couple times. I've gotten invited to speak there, but I have people, if we need help at the FBA, if our inventory gets lost or something like that, there's some people that I connect to at a business level that's pretty deep in there.
They have was it in Utah? No, I think I was just in Phoenix. I was shooting a movie. I still work as an actress, and I drove by an Amazon empire, some 1,000,000 square foot thing. They have those everywhere, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And I don't know if you ever seen the Amazon Fresh or whatever, where you can just go in and grab everything and walk out, and it just charges your phone without even knowing. But that's
I've heard. I haven't. That's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Back in California, they have one in Orange County, where I'm from, and it's wild.
Damn, it gets all those shoplifters, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. If they got a phone, then they're getting charged.
I just really don't quite understand how they can do all this. How I literally can have something in hours show up at my door. My mind just goes, what?
And that's why when we're sending our inventory stock into Amazon, Amazon judges which fulfillment center it should go to. And for instance, for new sellers, I just sent some pallets for a new seller into Amazon. It was going to 3 different destinations. And he was asking why I was going to those 3 different destinations. And Amazon, they actually look at your competitors. And so they see, all right, your competitors are selling more of these units in New York. So in order for us to get to that 2-day prime shipping, we're going to send most of your inventory to New York. So Amazon's very strategic which fulfillment centers they put your products in, so they can get your products to that, the day of and things like that.
That is just, I'm just like absolutely like stunned and fascinated.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody, any age, anything, is there a big investment to get started, do you think?
So you need around $5,000. I usually tell people to, if you want to create your own brand on Amazon, I mean, you can get started with less, you can get started with more, but I usually say $5,000 will take care of your first MOQ, minimum order quantity, and, the expenses it takes. I tell people to really invest in their product photos and, really important things on your listing. But I usually say around $5,000 to get started.
That's actually wildly reasonable.
Yeah.
What's hot on Amazon right now? If you were starting, what would you say we should jump into?
So I would tell you what to stay away from. Stay away from electronics, stay away from supplements, stay away from anything that has hazmat or that needs to be approved by Amazon. There's a lot of things that are gated. But I personally love the outdoor space. I love the baby toys. I have this one 65-year-old lady who She sends me gift baskets every month because I just changed her life. She's making over $200,000 a month with her toy brand that she has launched on, yeah, that she launched on Amazon. And she's dumbfounded. She's like, my husband never, gave me the respect that I needed. And now it's just changed my whole life. And so it's
What
really
kind
cool.
of toy? Wait, 200,000 a month? What kind of toys is she selling?
It's the wildest toy. It's one product. It's called a wooden balance board, and it's just this child balancing on this piece of wood that we get made for $8 in China, and she sells on Amazon for $69.99. And it is absolutely insane. Her margins are through the roof, and yeah, she's
Wait, but
crushing.
so now, does she have to market this at all, or just Amazon takes care of that?
So Amazon takes care of the shipping and the storage and the customer service. I teach her how to do the advertising on Amazon, but again, it's just the laptop lifestyle. You can do this all.
Wait. You teach the advertising. Give me a little insight into that.
Correct. So Amazon, their PPC, it's pay per click advertising. So basically, anybody that clicks on your ad, it will charge you like $1 or 50 cents. And so I teach them how to properly advertise their product and how to properly optimize their product on Amazon. But yeah, she just uses Amazon for a little bit of, just to blow up her product a little bit. And she's absolutely crushing it.
I am like floored. That is crazy.
Yeah.
I have another guest that I want to have come up here and say hi. One of my dear friends, because you talked about photographers, and so do you recommend people you have to make your product look really good, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I always tell everybody to go to a professional photographer. Don't use the images that, your manufacturer is telling you to use. That's something that we always want to invest in, because once you get your product to that, that first page that's so important, or once you market your product on Amazon, the next most important thing is the photo or the eye-catching ability of what you're marketing. So I 100% tell people to invest in their product photography when getting started on Amazon.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Kyle Kirshner, and I'm kind of blown away. He just exited an 8-figure outdoor company on backpacks. I mean, were you blown away by that? And he is the obviously expert, and teaching on how to monetize a dream, a product, an idea on Amazon in a way that I'm just sitting here going, I'm thinking, I should really talk to you about a fitness product that I have. Now, wait, before I let you go, because I'm going to jump to my next guest real quick. You talked about no supplements. Why stay away from the supplement arena?
Yeah, supplements and also skincare and beauty are very hard to kind of make a dent in on Amazon, because a lot of people are buying up that space. And what I mean by that is, again, those paid per click advertisements, they're not $1 per click anymore. They're $10 per click. And so it's going to be a very hard to spend the $5,000 that I'm telling you that you can spend and to make a business on Amazon in those spaces. Those spaces are going to cost a lot more capital. So I would tell people to stay away from that when, just trying to create a small business on Amazon.
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you want my audience of entrepreneurs to know?
Just look me up on Instagram if you'd like to get into selling on Amazon. And thank you so much for having me.
No, I'm very excited. I'm going to look you up and connect with you when we're in Salt Lake, because I not only think that I would love to know more, but I have a student base and obviously an audience here. I went in just real quick. I went in one day to give a speech, and everyone in that room, I guess they were advertising how to start an Amazon business. They were charging people $25,000, $35,000. Shortly after that company went under. They weren't as legitimate as they said. And I rescued a lot of those people because they invested their life savings. And I have a knack for not letting people screw over other people.
Yeah.
And so I remember that. And I'm excited that you were doing it the right way.
Correct.
Because
I usually tell people to be careful about those people. There's so many people out there that say that they were selling or say that they were sellers and say that they know this. And I've met a lot of people that weren't talking the talk and walking the walk, so to speak. And I tell everybody, if it wasn't for me working for that 8-figure brand for 5 years and literally getting in every department that they had, learning their business ins and outs, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and I wouldn't be teaching people or anything like that. So I'm very happy that you're one of those that make sure that their students are getting the right information.
That's what I so appreciate you. Thank you, Natalie, for helping me put this together and being here. Kyle, I cannot wait to meet you in person and see you in Utah.
Absolutely. Send me a message and we can get together. No problem.
Oh, I totally will. This has been awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. I'll talk to you later.
Wow, you know what? I love bringing you guys interesting, innovative concepts and being able to launch a business on Amazon and making money from it. Reach out to me if you want more information from Kyle. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on another dear friend of mine who just, well, first, when you just see her, you're like, wow, ain't she pretty? Pretty inside and out. And I think I'm on her wall. See that girl in the back with the leopard on? We're going to tell you the story behind that. One of the world's greatest photographers. She specializes in brand and boudoir. And she also specializes in just being a great all-around super chick.
Thank you for having me, Forbes. See, I was dressing in leopard today so I can match you on the back of my wall.
I love that. So I think I know almost everybody on the back of that wall, including Mr. Les Brown and Doria Cordova, and there's Stedman Graham, and that is Susie over there. Oh, and then Lisa. I know everyone on her wall, which is just beautiful. And by the way, your hair straight looks like killer. Look at you.
You know what? I used to blow dry my hair for 25 years straight.
Yeah.
So I just didn't accept my curls. And then I was just, after having kids and all that, I was just forget it. And then I got a new hair dryer recently, and it cut down my drying time for like an hour and a half to 30 minutes. So I just needed to change.
Wait. Share, what's the dryer? Is it like a Dyson? What'd you get?
Yes.
The Dyson one? Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I just knew that. She has the most amazing curls, which is ironic. I guess unless you have curls, you don't want them. But I jonesed on her hair. I've touched it. It's like so thick and so cool. All right. Now that I'm just fangirling you, Miss Ann Landstrom, tell the world who you are.
I am an award-winning master photographer, and I make my clients not only look like rock stars, but feel like royalty in my studio in San Diego.
There you go. Great pitch, by the way. I'm not sure where you got that, but I love it.
Right? I learned from the pitch queen.
Well, Ann and I had the beautiful honor of starting together in the middle of COVID. We found each other. She took some trainings. I got some photos, and I will tell you, they changed my life. One of the photos lives in my bedroom as a painting. And I tell the story that not only did we meet and have this, because I've been photographed my whole life, and I would never let an unretouched photo go at a certain age. And that photo that you see behind you, that whole shoot, which was in Costa Rica, they were so beautiful. Whatever it is that she sees through her lens and how she understands lighting, and especially for women. I mean, she definitely does men, but as a woman to feel glamorous, gorgeous, and sexy is extraordinary. And then one day I walked into her studio in the middle of COVID. My kids were sick. They were in San Diego. They were in one hotel lockdown. I was in another. Life was just kind of crappy, if you ask me. And she said, no, come, let's take some pictures. I'm like, no, I don't have any clothes. I walked in and she had some beautiful, fun things. I tried them on. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then sitting on her desk, as if fate just said, I'm going to change both of your lives, there was this beautiful crown. And I picked it up and I made it part of my branding. And I owe her for that, and just for being a good friend.
That was a fun shoot.
Yeah. Bring me up to speed. Tell me what's going on, Miss Master Photographer.
Oh my gosh, a lot of things. I had an amazing call yesterday with the top 2 head people in the photography industry for the photography education online, and also for the biggest convention that they're doing in Las Vegas in March next month. And I'm teaching a workshop for the first time at the convention it was mine and 3 others sold out the first day out of 100 of them.
I love that. Why do you think you're sold out?
Number 1, I'm teaching a boudoir class of how to photograph women over 50. And nobody else is doing that.
So let me ask a question for all my entrepreneurs, and we don't say over 50 now, we just say women who graduate high school without a cell phone. You know who you are. And so what is the secret if you want to be photographed and look good at a certain age?
Well, I don't think there's a secret. Number 1, there's always good lighting, right? You got to know how to position somebody, because once we are getting a little seasoned, like, I call us ageless, because these days we are ageless as women over 50.
Yes, I do think we are.
It's like our prime. We are now, kids are out, and it's our time to shine, right? So I feel, of course, posing is one thing, right? You got to know how to pose people for the right body type and make them feel good. But it's also about confidence and getting a woman in front of a camera that's gone through childbirth, has stretch marks, don't feel so good about what she sees in the mirror, and make them feel comfortable. It's sometimes I'm a little more of a therapist than I am a photographer.
What's
But
the value of wanting a boudoir photo after 50?
it's owning who you are right now, with everything that you see, and don't beat yourself up in the mirror. Like, fall in love with the person you are today.
I love that's such a great statement. Fall in love with the person that you are today. I teach this in a couple of my trainings to literally look in the mirror, and the first thing I say is, what's the conversation in your head? How many of you immediately go to, oh, is that a wrinkle? I got a gray hair. You immediately go to the negative. And I don't know if that's trained. Now, you were born in Sweden.
Yes.
Is it the same like harshness here in the US, do you think? Because I looked, your mom is stunningly beautiful. You carry that grace. I love Swedish women. But culturally, is it harder here in the US, or is just every female?
I think it's every female. It's starting to be as much of, the whole Botox society and all of that, the filled up lips, and you're starting to see a lot of that in Sweden as well, which it didn't used to be. But I think for women our age, it's I think here in America, we're staying more put together, or maybe it's just certain areas like, I don't know, California, Florida, New York, the big cities. I'm not quite sure, but I feel like women here in America are taking better care of themselves as we age.
I would love to say that. I think, unfortunately, you and I are in circles where we hang out with women who are like that, who believe that we can age gracefully. That's the funny thing is I say that, Anne, what does that mean? Does it mean Botox? I don't think so, but I know that it definitely means skin care, hair care, protein, collagen, working out, going to the gym, what you eat. I mean, this is not revolutionary, but you have a magazine that you produced dedicated to ageless women. Do you have a copy lying around? Because it's really spectacular that Anne is not only helping this movement, but celebrating women of every age, all the way up to their 90s. By the way, did you happen to see Joan Collins at the Emmy Awards?
No.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. You show people your magazine, and I'm going to show you something that I'm so delighted by.
My other one here. Let's see.
Joan Collins is 90 years old, and I have to share this visual with her because I couldn't get over it. I mean, it's probably one of the most exciting things that I have seen in a long time. This is her, guys. I'm going to share this with you. This is the still image of her at 90. Wait, where is she? Where is she? Look at this. Look how she showed up. I got advertising everywhere. That's not her. That would be going back too far. Like, Anne, can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you, look at this body, 90. And I will tell you the other thing that she did that was very smart is her hair and makeup are beautiful and appropriate. Her outfit covers any flaws because, again, she just, to me, looks perfect. So style has something to do with it. Yes. And then confidence to show up looking like that. Joan, I am such a huge fan now.
Yeah. And I believe too, the photography that I do for women for the boudoir, it's not all about showing off all your skin. It's about a confidence and tapping into your feminine essence and your feminine power, really, that a lot of us forget about because we are helping and doing everything for everybody else, and then put ourselves on the bottom of the list. So it's really a superpower that we have as women, and some women have never even seen it ever. So.
I know that. I'm going to give you the full spotlight. I want you to do a little conversation about the power of a photo for an entrepreneur. What can it do for you?
Well, it can, number one, put you as the expert in your field in comparison to everybody else. I tell people today that look at it as you are on a dating site and you're swiping left and swiping right? Because you only have one first impression. And that's the same in your branding. When people are going to hire you for whatever expertise you're in, they're going to go look and check you out. And 80% of the population is visual. And we do judge people from the cover. And so it's really important to show up as the best version of you and your brand. And also, it's a statistic that if you have a brand, if you are branding your business and yourself, you are making 25% more. So if you're, say, $100,000 a year company, would you like to have a raise of $25,000 because you're showing up branded and branding yourself? I mean, I would.
I love that. I'm going to give myself a raise. I will tell you, and for those of you who don't know, because I teach a personal branding training, all the other aspects that lead up to getting that photograph, because I do see the value of that. I see it's why George Clooney and certain other people who are actors, can make millions of dollars selling alcohol because they have this trusted brand, whatever that means.
Mhm.
And it's fascinating how you delve in, but to then visually see it in a photograph, I personally think is life-changing. She's going to show our magazine. Let's take a look at this.
I'm going to show, actually, sorry, my green screen is, so I have Forbes here, and what I did with this magazine, yours is in my studio with your cover on it. I have one with Forbes on the cover as well, but I had 70 women in here that is photographed boudoir style, and they all also got to write a love letter to themselves, which was very powerful. And here is one of the girls in here. She's 90. She's actually the most ageless one in here. And she's her quote is, "It's not over until I say it's over."
And if you're 90, you get to say whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think that is just so extraordinary. Anne is also a busy working mom. And that's one of the things that we cherish about each other, is being able to balance work life, home life, love life, and then your own loving you life. It's a very challenging thing. You have 3 grown boys. How are they doing?
They're good. I'm still waiting to become a grandma, or at least somebody can get married or something. Or I mean, but yeah, the middle one, him and his girlfriend are now getting a house together. So that's a good thing on the road there. But yeah, they're taking their time. My oldest is 34, and he's nowhere near to having a relationship right now. He's focusing on his career, and then the youngest is 18, and he's figuring things out, and they're all 3 are doing good. Yeah,
it is kind of, so Riker's in college, McKenna's still working, she's got her business. We are going to go, I think, to Iceland though, to go see the Northern Lights as a family. I'm
nice.
excited that, yes. What's you've been, how long have you been in the US?
40 years.
Oh my gosh. You go back every once in a while to Sweden.
Yeah.
What's some of the differences that you see culturally between Europe and here?
Well, I think we value traditions more in Europe than here. They fine art, I think we value that more in Europe as well. And then also it's just the building. I mean, you've spent quite a bit of time in Europe in the different countries. I mean, just the buildings, and feeling that you are in a city that is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of age, right? That's like if you go to Italy or you go to Venice, which is now a sinking city, we don't even know how long that's going to be around anymore. But I had the privilege to be up at 4:30 in the morning there one time to do a photo shoot in front of one of the big churches there. And we were walking through the city of Venice, and there was nobody around in like June, right? And you can feel the history. Like you can feel the buildings talking to you. It was an experience I'll never forget. Like Casanova, all those guys were there. Yeah, Michelangelo. I mean, they all were there, right?
So I haven't been in Venice in a while. I remember I went when I was in my 20s, and I took my family there. And that moment when you get off the train and you're like, it's not Disneyland, kids, it's real. It really does look and feel like this, and it does have this history. How long do you think it'll be around? What's the prognosis for Venice?
No, but it is sinking. And every time they have these big storms, it's, I feel sorry for all the businesses and everything there. They all get flooded, and yeah, so.
Kind of like Florida, which is interesting. We'll see how all this thing, I'm going to tell you, could be challenging. What's one of the biggest things that since you've been here in America as someone who wasn't born here, what's changed the most that you like and changed that you don't like?
People have changed, but I think COVID changed a lot. People's attitude. I think people's attitude has changed, not for the better. I think
attitude in what way?
people are just not as nice. I think.
No, I get it. Trust me. How about the I don't like how you're talking to me thing when you're in the as a sales clerk. I'm like, did I ask you what your feelings were? We're doing business here.
Yeah, and talk about customer service. Where did that go? You don't have to make an excuse to ask somebody something when you're anywhere, or just in general, businesses having customer experience is and it's going to get with AI, it's going to get less and less and less of human customer experience. And so I feel as a business owner, the more you can emphasize on the experience that you're offering, the better you're going to do, because people are going to be craving that human connection.
Well, you and I talked because I met you during COVID when photography was not at its height because you had to be in person, and you did very well during that time. What do you teach photographers? Everybody has a phone. Who needs a photographer? That must be a really annoying thing for you to hear.
Yeah, well, I teach photographers that about the experience that you're offering, right? You have to be more than just a photographer. You'll also have to, for branding, I dig into people's businesses. I dig into their website, their LinkedIn profiles, and I look through everything to see what's missing and how can we make it better. So it's not just getting you in front of the lens. I do a more in-depth conversation before I get people in the studio. And the same thing for boudoir too. Like what do you love about your body? What do you don't love so much? And what have you been through in your life? What are your ups? What are your downs? And once you build that connection with somebody, that's when they open up, and that's when you get the good shots, because you build that rapport, right, with the person.
Tell me the people you have on your wall behind you.
How many people?
No, tell me about some of the people that you have.
Oh, tell me about somebody. Okay, well, I'll have Mr. Les Brown, which is a friend of yours, I know. I have the Queen of Pitch in her leopard outfit, Forbes Riley. I have
that, by the way, I'm just, that's one of the first photos that I ever took with Anne. We are at a mastermind in Costa Rica in the middle of COVID. And I brought this dress that I never really wore. I bought it once in a store. It just felt so like, bougie over the top. And not like something I wear around the house, but you can think I do. And the sunglasses from being out at the pool. And I don't know what it is about Anne, but she had me sit in the chair, and it was the way the conversation went that is not a pose, you guys. That is a moment. Yeah. And I think, and I look at Mo Rock above you. Mo Rock is the founder of the Los Angeles Tribune. By the way, I just did a closing keynote speech, and probably one of the best speeches I've ever done. I will send it to you because I apparently all the practicing, all the breakthroughs, all the work that we've done has had a profound effect on my communication skills as well. And that, I'm loving the foot on Mo. I'm loving, if you guys, it's hard to zoom in, but he's got his glasses on. It's kind of this. Do you remember that moment, what was going on for him? Because it's really cool.
Yeah, we were playing music, and we were like, doing a thing, talking and things like that. And I think we were talking about, what was that movie with the two guys, was it Men in Black?
Okay, yeah.
And so, yeah, I just said, just tap into kind of your
inner badass.
Badass Men in Black. Yeah, so I got some great shots of him that day. That was really fun.
And that's, it's funny because you also took pictures of both my kids, and I've never seen them look that way. We still use McKenna's and Rikers. There's something about you and the way that you communicate. And so, number one, if you're interested, you want to go to, tell me where we're going to go?
AnnePhotography.com.
Anne has a very cool personal style. And if you're going to be in San Diego, if you're going to be listening to her, you're going to be out in Las Vegas when?
I'm going to be in Las Vegas the first week of March. Yeah. And I was going to tell you, the second thing that happened is I had created, and this might be something for your community, by the way, I have created branding.
Ooh, look at that. Brands, is it called what? Brand what?
This is the whole magazine. This one is for women, and this one is for men. These are all, these are all poses. 150 posters in each magazine.
Wait, let me see inside. Let me see inside. I know it's a little hard on the green screen, but I'm loving this. Go ahead, open this up, because this is what people need to see. They need to understand how to do this. And that's Camille. You've got some of my great friends and students in there. I loved, what a great idea. Look at you go. There's Mel. I know her. I know her clientele.
Yeah, so there's then there's the same for men. There's all sitting, standing, office poses.
What a genius idea, because that's probably one of the biggest questions that you've got. What do I do with my hands? How do I sit? How do I pose? You're not there to be a model. You're there to be you. And her job is to capture you. I love that.
Yeah, so these are going into the biggest online education for photographers, so they can learn how to pose for their branding clients, and also what I do with these, when I have them in the studio, I have the guys or the women look through and they'll say, what do you resonate with here? What do you think that you can use for your branding?
I love that. What would you say to women who are in business and raising kids, especially if you're a single mom? What philosophies do you have that helped?
Well, because I know it's hard, right? It's hard to be everything to everyone, including yourself. And for me, when I was raising my youngest son, I worked really late at night, so I can be the mom that went and picked him up at school and went to the sports and all of that stuff. So I did do my mom duties, and then I did work late when he went to bed. I stayed up late, but you can do everything, but it is definitely a lot harder than somebody that is married or somebody that have, particularly if you're starting over. Like I had to start over at 50, so it was challenging for many years. But I think it's when you have a dream, you just have to get up every day and just walk to that dream, whatever that means, if it's baby steps or big steps, whatever that is, every single day, and work towards it. And now, I mean, I'm getting closer and closer. Now I'm on stage at the biggest convention, and I'm part of the biggest online education for photographers. And that didn't happen unless I got up in the morning and did it.
Yeah, and definitely you're a testament to that. And it's, I think we both are. Is a level of consistency and moving forward, one foot in front of the other. And is it hard work? Yeah, but I don't have a boss. You have a boss?
Yeah, you're looking at her.
Yeah, that's just it. You take vacations when you want, you work hard when you want, but you do that so that somebody doesn't tell you when you have your time off or what to do with your time.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't do it any other way. I mean, I think at this point, when you've been an entrepreneur for X amount of years, you become unemployable.
I would think so, because I would go in and want to tell someone how to run their stuff, and I'm sure that doesn't work. I'm unemployable. Yay! Oh, I think that's hysterical. Well, where's the Ann Landstrom book?
It's sitting in Google Drive, and me and ChatGPT is going through each chapter, and just I'm doing some tweaking, but it's coming.
What's going to be the focus of it?
Well, I think that the name of the book is going to be Rise, like Rise.
Okay.
And it's
mine is called Rice, what you eat with sushi. RIC. No, just kidding. I'm gonna rice it. No, just kidding. I don't know why I even said that. I've been sitting in this chair too long today.
Right.
So Rise. Is there a subtitle?
Yeah, there's a few. I haven't gotten that far yet, but it's coming. And I mean, it's more about the journey of, I mean, I started playing with Barbie and dress Barbie and dress up as a 5-year-old. So I know, and I used to sit and look at my parents' photo albums for hours and hours and hours, asking questions. And I was just like, I just loved the whole still photography and all of that. So I think I've been doing this since I was 5. And so it's more or less going back to where I started and coming to this country as an immigrant, not knowing anybody, and becoming an entrepreneur, and what's happening in between. I mean, it's been a couple of ex-husbands, and it's been husbands, and life hasn't always been on roses. So it's just kind of like a story about resilience, and also how to make lemonade martinis with lemons.
See, and this is what I love about Anne. Anne is a true girl at heart. a woman, an artist, an entrepreneur, and it's just been a whole lot of fun talking to you. Anything else you want my audience to know?
That whatever you are thinking about, dreaming about, it's put one step or 3 steps if you can a day and walk towards it, and don't give up. Believe, and it will happen. I believe that I will photograph Forbes one day when I was on one of her Zooms during COVID, and now she's sitting on my wall. I'm a very big believer in the law of attraction and the manifestation.
Well, and the reverse is true, because when I first met Anne, I was enamored with her style, and she had some of the biggest speakers in my world, from Lisa Nichols to Les Brown, on her wall. And I was sitting here also thinking, didn't know that she was thinking that too, that I would love to be on the wall. And I think when I look back there and I see how beautiful that woman looks over your shoulder, also dressed in cheetah, I sometimes have a little bit of a hard time realizing that that's me, because, and I have a new book coming out as well, but it doesn't focus on my struggles. I haven't gotten to that book yet. I'm still doing pitching. But at some point, I will share with everyone what it does take to have the level of perseverance and consistency to rise above the noise. And the crazy thing for Anne and I is we did it in a time when there was no social media early on. It was harder, and it was way lonelier. I didn't know other people's stories. I couldn't go on YouTube and hear these beautiful, amazing speeches of motivation and TED Talks and people overcoming things. The only talk, and I talk about this, the only talk that I heard was at AA meetings, even though I wasn't an alcoholic, my roommate was. And when I first heard my first alcoholic speech, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know why I relate to everyone so much, but these people are sharing real vulnerable moments. And in my family, we didn't do that.
Yeah.
And so it's been a journey. And I was teaching this today. I did a breakthrough training that there's no destination. There's nowhere to go. I don't really care if you want to make $1 million, or if you want to climb the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, or you want to be the very best. As soon as you get to the status of very best, there's somebody right behind you. You don't hold on to that very long. And so the journey, the path, the people are more important than where you think you're going. So if you're somebody who says, oh, not enough, I don't have enough time to be social or to be this or do that, when I get the $1 million, I can do it. Well, guess what? When you get the $1 million, one, it won't be as much as you think it is. And two, you will have turned around and there's nobody there to celebrate with.
Yeah.
And so what's the point of all of it?
And people will buy your services because of your vulnerability, and also for being authentically you.
Yeah, that's the thing that's the currency of the last 3 years that I am coming to embrace. I told this story too about being vulnerable. When you were growing up, Anne, did you have a lot of girlfriends?
I didn't have a lot, but I had very close girlfriends. I had a few that I was very close with. I'm still friends with them today. Yeah.
Because quality matters to you.
Yes.
And I think that's what I've come to understand, that there is a level of how you show up for real. You can have lots of friends, you can have lots of frivolous things, but the ones that matter, that are deep, that are real people, that are living their lives and also being generous to give to others. It's not all about you. It seems that we've got 2 minutes left to the end of my show. I don't know how that happened. Just closing thoughts. There's a lot of women out there who are yearning to live the life that we almost take for granted now. What would you say to them?
I say that it is, again, for me, it's been like believe in your dream, and just do something every day to walk through it. And I wish there was a magic wand that you can just swish around, but you are the magic wand. And
you are the magic wand. I love that. You should go on America's Got Talent. This woman, Lauren Allred, she was the voice.
Oh my God, that woman's voice is like an angel. Yeah.
She just recorded Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I listened to it again this morning, and I can't stop crying. Guys, we've got 30 seconds left. I want to say a big hug to Anne. You want to go to Anne Photography? And if you want to know more, I've got her on my e-card. And of course, just say, hey, how do I find Anne? I want a great photo. I'm happy to steer you to San Diego. And just keep following your dream one step in front of the other. I know that it becomes reality. It's beautiful watching Anne. Just watch out and move over, because we're here to stay.
That's right.
Bye, you guys. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you, Anne. I love you.
Love you too.